A room with a view of the whole city. Fashion luxury, that's what he's got pretty.
I was in Berlin. And, well, somehow they managed to make everything work in some way. I mean, when you're traveling as a passenger these days, you're just glad to even get from A to B. So, and when you get to a lounge, I had good experiences at BER, for example, with the BER Lounge Airport. I was impressed. A real Bajaruti Pass lounge was really good. I did a review, you can take a look at it, and then, of course, I flew with Ausländer Airlines. So that gave me access to business class. And in the Senator Lounge, I mean, I took a look at the business, Senator, and of course the Circle Lounge and thought, okay, that would be interesting, and was actually positively surprised. Aside from the children's lockers and seats, which are all a bit in that IKEA kids style, I have to say the lounge is actually in good condition. Also, that situation, which used to be a real nightmare, where you would arrive and everything was crammed into a small business lounge, I think has been well addressed. You walk in, and there's this big counter at the front where staff members are sitting, trying to check in guests individually in a somewhat friendly manner. And you then have the option to go right into the Senator Lounge, and to the left is the Business Lounge. And actually, it's all a bit vague. So in the end, you don't really pay attention to whether someone is going from the Business Lounge to the Senator Lounge. But what are the pros and cons? There's no difference. So, in the end, they should have kept both as Business and Senator Lounges. That would create more space and people would spread out more. Okay, every now and then you might have the advantage of having a few less guests in the Senator Lounge. And maybe that would also mean a few more chairs. But I think this private layout, these different little spots that offer a bit of privacy, is quite well done. I think that's great. I think the staff do a good job there, even though there's also the computer, as I always say, that robot that drives around and collects the glasses and so on. I'm always amazed that there are travelers who actually put their cutlery and plates into that robot from the table. I wouldn't have thought it was possible, but that's just it. When people stop thinking, they start working for the companies, and they should actually be receiving service. That means that someone comes along and clears it away and then puts it there, even in a robot. But the fact that travelers now do everything themselves just shows that business travelers have mostly stopped thinking because they are no longer interested in service and those kinds of things, because before they get annoyed, they just say, whatever, I'll take this thing like at McDonald's and just throw it on that robot. I provide the service, I make sure everything is taken care of, and in the end, I even pay money for it. Honestly, that wouldn't happen to me. I wouldn't put the cutlery I used into the robot afterward, because I think that might cause someone to lose their job. Who cleared it away before? You could clearly see that in the system of McDonald's, Burger Kings, and all those places. In the past, there were staff members who cleared everything away. These days, people clear everything away themselves into the dishwashing stations, and that's why they've cut back on staff. So that's why I say that if I don't support something like that, then I'm not someone who might feel a little better. But I'm a person who says very clearly that I'm in favor of... I'm interested in the jobs that are available there, which gives me the opportunity to receive good service. And when a staff member comes by, says a friendly hello, and then clears things away, I have to say I prefer that to clearing my own cutlery. And put it in the robot. But what really... The nice thing about this Lufthansa, which in that sense is not a frustration Hansa, but rather the Berlin Lounge at BER, Lufthansa, Business Senator, and the small Horn Circle Lounge is, in my opinion, a good solution. Lufthansa has come up with something good. They do pay attention to the fact that at least a bit more service is happening in Berlin. The staff is great. Food is just this classic food. So, there's meat sausage and there are little sausages. And then you also have all these cheeses and rolls with pretzels and so on. So, all that you should expect in such a business lounge. And I have to say, it brought me joy. I enjoyed being there and found the idea with the bear quite funny. And overall, it's a nice story. Maybe just a little tip for all the travelers out there. You leave your clothes, your wallets, your bags, opis at the table when you go to get your food. Or when you go to get drinks. Or even when you go to the bathroom. You need to think about the time we're in and the time we're heading into. It's going to get tougher. There will be more crime in the future. So don't be surprised if your money, your wallet, your passports, etc. lying in a bag and open. They're lying so that everyone can grab it. Then in the future, the guests those who will also come into these lounges in the future, of course, will be tempted to just take it. Because we don't have any cameras in the lounges. There's no one there to pay attention. It's simply a self-protection function that you should consider leaving your jacket there. It's certainly not a problem, but putting your bag over your shoulder for a moment and then getting something to eat is, or going to the toilet and then realizing that I have my bag with me should be a little tip for everyone in the lounges. What will happen in the future? And it will become more criminal. You just have to understand that it is no longer as safe as it used to be. You can no longer just walk into a lounge. There are now people in the lounges who are actually looking to grab these things. In America, it happens every day. In Europe. Is it getting worse? And on that note, here's a little special tip. If you're in Berlin and you have a Lufthansa, Austrian or Swiss ticket, I honestly recommend visiting this lounge. It's a pleasure. And I even found it quite interesting that if you fly with Eurowings, there's a pickup area where you, as a business traveller, get picked up in the Eurowings area and taken to the lounge every 20 minutes. What I couldn't find out is whether this also applies to Lufthansa, Swiss and their customers. But in any case, this service is at least a little ray of hope, and that's why it was a pleasure. And the Lufthansa business, Senator and Kleine Horncircle Corner gets a thumbs up from me.